I'm taking you to Ace Hardware, a racist, not co-worker, but supervisor. Supervisor decided to hang a black effigy on Juneteenth of all days, put in a full mask. Just couldn't help himself. An ex-Ace Hardware manager says he was fired for the unbelievable reason after complaining about a symbol of a dismembered black man hung from the ceiling on Juneteenth, the Black federal holiday. So 2 years ago, Devondrick Hartsfield voiced his concerns. Mr. Hartsfield said that his boss was, he's a white supremacist. Mr. Hartsfield told CBS News Texas he was working at Van Mark's Ace Hardware. This was in Arlington, Texas, on Juneteenth, 2023, when his manager, who is white, showed him something disturbing in the store's warehouse. Now, understand, the store's warehouse is not separate from said store. It is the commercial property. Quote, before we walked to the door, he told me to look up. And I looked up. And when I looked back at him, he was like, quote, it's a joke. Juan left his backpack. End quote. Hartsfield said. Backpack was hanging from the ceiling. Upon further reflection, Hartsfield, who had been a delivery driver at the store for nearly 4 months, said the incident sent a chill down his spine. Quote, and when I looked back up, I saw the noose with the rope, and I was like, what the hell? Hartsfield said. Bag, to me, looked like a black man who was hung and dismembered. He said, I really feel like that was a message. He said the manager insisted the hanging backpack was intended as a joke. One supervisor later apologized. He said, Hartsfield said he could not help but wonder whether it was a coincidence that all of this occurred on Juneteenth, 2023. All right, this is called circumstantial. But context clues matter. Number one, yes, it's on Juneteenth, and say it out loud, it is the Black federal holiday, okay? Number two, the man told you to look up. Why would you care about Juan's backpack? You definitely would care about a dismembered black male effigy hanging from the ceiling because you happen to be a black male. And if your narrative is correct, he happens to be a white supremacist. In addition to that, another manager did apologize. Apologize for what? For Juan's backpack? What do we say I'm sorry for? All right, here we go. So now, almost 2 years later, Hartsfield has filed a $1 million lawsuit against Ace alleging racial discrimination, according to court documents filed Tuesday. He was fired, the suit states, because he reported the troubling incident to the company's HR department, which, by the way, is supposed to handle human resources. This is a violation of how you handle your human assets of your company. We call them human resources. Now, Hartsfield included pictures of the noose in his discrimination complaint to the upper management. So when he sent the complaint in, he provided the pictures. He said the noose was still hanging when he returned to work the next day, according to the suit. Representatives from HR assured Hartsfield there would be an investigation, the suit claims. The company promised the same when it was asked to comment on Hartsfield allegations in 2023. This is a statement from Van Mark's. Van Mark's Ace Hardware would like to assure you and the entire community that any allegations of racism or any discrimination is being thoroughly investigated and addressed with the utmost urgency, the statement said. We take such incidents seriously and are committed to creating a safe and inclusive environment for both our employees and our customers. Now, anytime somebody utilizes the word utmost in their apology statement, they are lying. I just want to give you a code of life, okay? Now, Mr. Hartsfield alleges that he was suspended without pay after coming forward to HR with concerns and was never asked to come back to work. His position was later filled by a non-Black applicant, according to the suit. Atlanta Black Star News reached out to Ace Hardware seeking comment. No comment has come in the immediate. All right, we have a very clear example, in my humble opinion, of a racist moment that likely did not start that day, but is part of the culture. And maybe that was the point of the supervisor. And, well, Mr. Hartsfield, he don't like taking points, and so he sued him. Okay, here we go. So, dear brother, this is an interesting case because it looks like he has the actual evidence, meaning he filed a complaint, put the picture in the complaint. And at this point, if you go to trial, everybody has to be exposed and record and under oath.
Yes, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and that picture says it all. First of all, you got to think about, did this guy have a noose laying around and decided to pull his quote unquote practical joke? Or did he build the noose for his quote unquote practical joke? Either way, if you're building a noose or you have a noose hanging around, most likely you're a white supremacist. That's just part of it. I don't have any nooses around. A lot of us don't have nooses hanging around. This guy has a noose available for his quote unquote practical joke. And secondly, like you said, context matters. This was on Juneteenth. You can imagine how a lot of white supremacists are upset about Juneteenth. And so it's very possible that he thought, oh, this is my way of expressing my discontent with this holiday. And he decided to bring it and show it to a Black employee to see what his reaction is. And I would tell you something, Dr. Richey, I'm a stand-up comedian, and a lot of white supremacists are now saying, oh no, it was a joke. I was just joking. You can't take a joke. No, man, that's not how it works. If you do a quote unquote joke and it's racist, it's just not funny. And so you can't say, you're stopping my First Amendment right to freedom of speech. I should be able to say any word. You can't take a joke. You're a snowflake. They say all of that stuff, Dr. Richey. And then when I go on stage, and if God forbid I mention Donald Trump's name, if they're in the audience, they lose their minds. Don't talk about him. That's not right. So it's amazing how they are the snowflakes. It's amazing how they use this as an excuse. They keep saying there's cancel culture, cancel culture. Well, cancel culture is happening in the other direction all the time. If you don't believe me, ask Mahmoud Khalil. Ask the girl who wrote the op-ed piece at Tufts University criticizing the war in Gaza. Ask many, many people whose speech is being asked, the people protesting in the streets of Los Angeles against ICE. That's where the cancel culture is happening. And you get white supremacists doing obviously racist things and then trying to excuse it as a joke. To your point, I believe that this will hold up in the court, and or they'll end up settling. But hey, man, if you're going to be racist, at least admit it. Just say, yo, that's what it was. That's who I am. And you know who you are. I know who I am. And let's move on, rather than trying to hide behind this facade of it was a joke. It was not a joke.
That's right. Not a joke, not funny. And also, it's going to be expensive. And to Mr. Hartsfield, thank you for filing that suit that brings light to the world. And it also provides an opportunity for correction for the wrongdoer.